start by telling you about the trembling man. I'll take you to a scene in a courtroom, in a small court somewhere in the middle of Gurgaon. A trembling man, 36 years of age, family at home, waiting for him to return and tell them what happened. That 36-year-old man is arguing his very first case. Every word that comes out of his mouth has 1,000 butterflies leaving his stomach at the same time. And he wonders in his mind, is it really me? Because he was the same man who has stood the test of time in several boardrooms before. He is the same man who fought battles, strategic victories in boardrooms multiple times before. He is the same man who has led people and teams across the country and spoken confidently on every count. He has led businesses to victories many times before. He's that same man. But that day, about 4 or 5 years back, this man was trembling. And ladies and gentlemen, this man was me. This is my story. Now, in that moment, I realized that what I was attempting to do was nothing but I was trying to graft. Do you all know what grafting is in horticulture terms? There is a trunk and then you bring a branch from outside and graft it on that trunk. And the fruits are materially different from the original trunk. And I think that day the biggest learning that I could gather was that if you can graft your skills on your original trunk of experience and things that you've already done, magic can happen. And magic did happen. After that incident in the courtroom, he finally did get a favorable order. And after that, victory after victory. So what he learned as strategy in a boardroom, the man was able to apply the same strategy in a courtroom and on the matters that his clients brought to him. On all his experiences on people, he could gather the skills that helped him cross-examine the people that he was faced with, the witnesses that he wanted to crack. For all the management skills that he picked up, he was able to manage a chamber profitably at the same time. And at the same time, he was able to gather all his management skills and run a chamber with the help of his partner and run it well and run it efficiently and run it profitably. So that day he realized that the fruits of the graft can be surprisingly tasty. Now, the usual way in which we see our careers progressing is when we attach ourselves to a cause or we attach ourselves to a calling and then we decide that this is what I want to do, and then we move onwards and forward in that direction. Throughout our life, we are one profession, one identity. That's typically how we've seen careers progressing. But in today's world, if we follow this approach, the difficulty is that the world is changing faster than ever before. I was surprised to see that 80% of the jobs will be overtaken by AI in the coming few years, and therefore the professions will have to mean something different. And therefore, the art of grafting and crafting your career will become one of the most important arts that you will all understand and learn as you progress and you grow over a period of time. Now, there's also something else that I want to tell you. Doing this is not easy. You can't acquire a set of skills and then try to graft them elsewhere in a different industry and expect to succeed. It requires courage and it also requires people who believe in you. Now, as for courage, to me, courage was not absence of fear. To me, courage was the point where I decided that I'll move forward despite the fear. And there was that one day when my wife put her hand on my shoulder and said, "It's all right, we'll figure this out. Why don't you try this, and why don't we make an attempt and try to see if this works out?" And also showed the belief that she believes that this will work out. So, as my young friends, I want to tell all of you that there will be times when you will feel that there is fear in your mind. As you do things that are unconventional, as you do things that are not as regular in the real sense of word. But as you gather up the courage and move forward despite that, you will realize how beautiful the world on the other side is. Now there's another thing here. Each time you will try and think about combinations, you will also have a certain vision in mind about how do I make these combinations possible. So remember, in today's day and age and in today's world, the skills do not belong to organizations. The skills belong to people. And therefore, my humble advice to all of you will be that do not, and please do not, try to look for the perfect first job. Look for skills. Look for the kind of work that you're able to do. Try and work across functions, try and work across various roles and disciplines so that you are able to acquire a very special set of skills. Because I can tell you that today the world does not value, does not pay the regular careers. The world is now rewarding the skills that are combinations, and the combinations that are unique to individuals. And those unique combinations are the ones that are very personal to an individual and therefore have a potential of very high reward. And therefore, as you think about your careers, what will I do when I pass out from here? What organization will I join? What will be my package? I think the first set of questions in your head should be, what skills will I acquire? Because it's that skills that you will be able to graft throughout your career in multiple areas where you want to contribute. You may have a vision today that may see fruition about 5 to 10 years hence. And that is the day when you will realize that you have acquired certain skills which are graftable. And you graft those skills on the trunk of your life and the trunk of your experience and enjoy the fruits, some of which I also had the pleasure to taste. I'll bring you all back now to that same courtroom, but this time not a court in Gurgaon. It was the Honorable Supreme Court, and it was as of this morning. That lawyer has now turned 41, and he was still trembling with fear. But this time he was not trembling with fear because he was worried about what to say. He was trembling with fear because he was wondering that what if I was not courageous enough that day? Where would I be today? He was trembling with thought that if he had not taken that courageous step forward, where would life take him and where would he land? And after having argued in the Supreme Court this morning, having secured an order for my client, here I am talking about grafting skills and making choicest careers for people who will combine the worlds and skills. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Namotha. Thank you very much.